another episode of A Podcast. Your host, Stephen Maxted. And today we have, I say this often, but this is like next level energy with Khas Toker today with React Science, VP of Marketing. It's a company he runs with his brothers. He's going to dive in a little bit more here. We met through like a business group. Shout out to BNI for bringing us together. Yeah, Cass, I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself a little bit more, just to kick this thing off.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's funny saying that when you're like at your work. You're not today. I like to claim the high energy, but it's just caffeine. Like you need me free
For
caffeine.
coffee.
I'm not cash yet, but yeah, exactly. Shut up, type A.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you mentioned, it's a family-run business. We are a curbside billboard company, so we set up signs in front of businesses, advertise whatever's going on in your business to just fish some people from the street inside and get some more sales for your business, more customers, retention, all that good stuff. They say don't work with your family, but I like my fam, so works out pretty good. I feel pretty fortunate to have the brothers that I have. We're all pretty hard workers and tenacious, so it's pretty sweet. But yeah, we set up billboards. We've also recently introduced TV advertising. So we set up little TVs in businesses, and it's just a really good way for local businesses to cross promote for 100% free. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I could blab all day.
Well, let's start off. How did you guys get started in this business? Because I know like we'll open up, we'll unpack lots of this here, but you guys were started off with physical science. Now you're, as we go through here, we'll definitely talk more in your digital thing, because the digital side of your business, because that's certainly blown up. But the physical side, okay, what got you guys into that? Kind of going back to day one, what was the starting point? What did it look like then, or how did this happen? I don't know. I know I've heard it before, but for the listener.
Yeah, let's go. So basically, we were like during COVID, we're all trying to figure out how to adapt with the world. Kind of a common story, I'm sure, and working in a like this was a cool option because it was an industry that we don't see like dying. Like it's kind of all people always need to advertise. Being that this specific like curbside billboards has been around for decades, that was pretty solid because life goes like this, curbside billboards go like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty attractive, being that it's been around for so long. So that was really cool. We were all kind of just looking around, shopping, trying to figure out where we wanted to do our next business, because we've had various businesses over the years together, and doing something in advertising and as simple as just setting signs up for businesses seemed like a good play. Yeah.
Awesome. What like how many signs would you guys have like, or what would have been like, I guess, targeted? So any business that has a storefront that wants a sign in front of it, how were you guys finding folks to advertise with, or were they already coming to you guys to advertise when you guys first got started?
Great question. So we were looking at what was already out there for businesses, and then when we found a home in this industry, we're like, okay, we could start from scratch. Like, how hard is it to just stick some nails on a board and put some letters on it or a picture? Not too hard. But I give a lot of respect to business owners who build a brand from the ground up. It is you can do it, but you got to be a way better businessman than me or my bros to do it. So we thought that, okay, we saw this opportunity where a business with already a bunch of clients has been around for, now it's like 33 years. They were the first curbside billboard business in Manitoba. So they already had that client base. They already had some revenue. So we could look at these numbers, and numbers are fun. But just knowing that, one, they lost X amount of their clients during COVID, which is just makes sense. But they kept going. And being that everything was opening up again, like, man, we could get these clients back. We already have a silly amount of leads from reoccurring and then past clients. So yeah, it just made the most sense to us to continue something instead of we've done it before where you try to build a brand and it's cool and you can get by, but it's much more like stable, I guess, to grab something that's already working with the gears going. So,
Totally. Yeah. So you guys moved into a business, from what I'm hearing here, and just to repeat it out loud, is a business that was already existing, and you guys did the really smart thing of, seeing the opportunity there, taking it over, and then making it your own ultimately. And I think that's such a great play, because one of the bigger things is like truly value in companies is, along with the existing business that's already coming in, because then it's not seen as 100% debt like a startup is, where everything's risk because you don't have the client base and flow at all, even if it's dropped off, because you can make improvements and change it stuff as it's happening.
Exactly. And we also knew that we wanted to move into the digital space as well.
Right.
And what better way to get introduced to somebody through your friends? So we're like, hey, we're already React Signs. Hi, I'm the digital space. So it's like the digital ads had a really cool introduction. Instead of being something new, it was more something familiar. So just recommending, hey, did you want to get your ads in places to businesses? Oh, sweet. How about throwing one of these TVs in and getting free digital ads? So when somebody says free and they're a stranger, it's like red flags, things are going off. If you're already doing business with them and they mention free, they're like, oh yeah, like this is great.
The value add that you guys are able to offer there.
Like a cheat sheet. Yeah,
totally. No, and one of the things that I noticed right away when we jumped on the call, and for any of the listeners there that are familiar with this, they know that I have the website on here just as a reference point to guide them through if we're telling them to go there. What I'm seeing is also kind of what I'm talking to on here, although it might change again. But I was saying to you the last time I think I checked on here, it's changed a lot. Like, you have some pretty big numbers on here for, how many TVs you have out there. I'm just going to list off the numbers, but they might have changed because your business probably works so fast. Is 6,100 plus ad TVs, 125 plus curbside billboards, daily impressions are over 500,000, and you're in US and Canada, so you're cross border. With that, obviously, folks can probably direct their ads to be in certain geographies if they are in one country or one area with you guys. But that's quite the thing, because this is only going to continue to grow for you guys on those numbers. And it's one of those things, when you hit that critical mass, it starts to kind of feed itself. I see it on some of the social media accounts that I run, and you just start to see I'm sure you see that, right, for impressions and clicks and different things. So it's neat to see that this has changed and expanded for you guys here. But with this change of website that I've noticed here and some big numbers, what else has gone on with this change on this side of things for you guys?
So yeah, I'd say all like the bigger numbers are coming from our digital side, like the ad TVs we have all over North America, newer to Canada. But yeah, it's expanding exponentially. But the biggest change I'd say that we had this past month, so August is going to be the first full month where we have the physical billboards out in Alberta now. So that's huge. We baby steps. We sent out about 8 or 10 of them just midway through last month, and they already are all out. So literally this upcoming month and two, we're just getting it together to send even more out there. We're just renting a U-Haul and shipping them out there. So pretty exciting news. The coolest thing about that is, well, expanding is awesome, but it's just by adding our TV ads, our digital out-of-home ads, it's kind of just made it that much easier for us to get billboards out, because basically, to keep it frank, if a business purchases the TV ads from us, the digital ads, they get the curbside billboard for free.
Wow.
So, yeah. So if you're another sign company listening, my bad.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's part of the strategy to break in, or like, bring the old with the new, or the new with the old, whatever you want to call it, because they're getting both. That's all part of your marketing for your package out there, and that's awesome. So Why Alberta? I mean, like I've seen. I was just out there. My sister's got married out there, wedding and stuff, and it seems like it's booming. Like it seems like there's just like an energy about there. I would actually maybe even relate it back to the marketing. Like maybe there were more signs that I saw up for advertising for businesses, because I don't know why I'm kind of assuming that, or like, have had that feeling coming back, but it felt like it was busy, like things were
Yeah.
happening.
Alberta's awesome. Like I'd say they treated our family well. Like we've almost all of us have lived out there at different times. Currently, Brock, one of my brothers slash business partner, he lives out there, so that makes
Okay.
it much easier for us to expand that way. We also sold the north of Alberta franchise out to a gentleman out there. Shout out Darcy, what's up,
Cool.
my man? And so he's just going ham out there. So having him and then also my brother out there, it's just that much easier to expand that way. We are all across the States and Canada, though. Like, for example, we do have TVs going all over Toronto. I was actually just working on some of that before we hopped on here. We have we're actually out in Yellowknife. Literally yesterday, we sold some ads and some TVs we set up there. And so, yeah, we're kind of expanding everywhere. But
Cool.
physically in Alberta is one of the first steps, just because it's easy. There's already a franchise owner who's gung ho about things. And then, yeah, my brother being out there just makes it that much more sense to do.
No, absolutely. What's I guess, like, we're talking about like innovating in this industry here. Um, like I mean, I don't really want to even like compare. It's kind of a way that I approach business too. It's not really about the competition at all, and I'm sure you're similar in this cast in some ways there. But what does this business kind of look like on a traditional scale? Like, are there other people pushing like into this digital way the same way that you guys are, or is this kind of like, is the digital thing really like revolutionizing how folks are doing things now? Because it's kind of got to be both. Like we're working with, in my mind too. Sorry, going on a spree here, but like so many different demographics of like, you have kids, we'll call it what it is, or younger generations on the phones often, but you still have, we'll call it what it is, like the majority of wealth in an older generation that probably isn't as frequent on their phone, nor do they, necessarily need to be for their purchases, where a physical sign might attract them to come in and spend. So you almost need that mix of stuff now, right? You're almost like juggling all of the ways to attract people in, because you don't want to miss someone for that.
That's a better thing than what I would have said. That's great. We're gonna clip that for our site later.
Well, sure, we'll cut that. I'll send that over. There's but that's how I kind of see it, though, right? I mean, I just feel like you're touching so many like genres at once.
For sure. To give some like relatable comments about that is, when we talk to like the people who have been with our company for decades, just renting the billboards, putting them outside their business, getting a lot of traction from that. That's what they understand. It's simple. It's a sign. There's a picture of a burger. People want to buy the burger, right? Like super simple. When we introduce to somebody who's been with us for a long time, hey, how about we throw in a TV that plays ads all day at your checkout, in your waiting room, and then you get free advertising around your business. Yeah. So even as simple as that sounds, like my mom, I think she still has a VCR and doesn't know what time it is. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like certain generations just don't understand new, even if it's kind of like straightforward to somebody like us.
Totally.
So what we do is we make it as easy as possible. We set up the TV for everyone. Our design team, as soon as we hook it up, it kind of alerts our design team and they go, oh, new location. They start cruising the internet. They check out their social media, their website, whatever they can find. They'll put a generic ad together for that business. So then their advertisement is circulating the area that they were, or their business is, just immediately. So it's literally hands-free. They don't even have to send me an email. Another sweet advantage is like certain places, like we're at Jim Goche Chevrolet, for example, and they have a marketing team. So I met with I believe it's Erin, nice lady. She sent me an ad almost immediately. And a place like a car dealership, they'll send me like a bunch of ads for the year because they kind of know what sales are going on throughout the year, right? So depending on who we're talking to, they can, we can get as technical as you want or as advanced as you want. But like literally, if you don't want to do nothing, you just want free ads, I'm your guy too. It's all good. We'll take care of it.
Totally. Yeah. And so that's kind of like, and I'm seeing just like on the visual here, I guess, to explain what you guys do offer. Well, wait, two things on the physical science side, cover that first, just to like really go basic here. But on the signs, you guys offer, tell us what you can put on those billboards or those signs. What are they? That's what I kind of call them. I don't think that they're not up in the sky billboards, but they're on the ground signs and billboards. And
I don't know how good this imagery is going to
go. No, it's good.
This is a fuzzy billboard right here.
Yep.
But so there's just fluorescent colored letters, and they reflect headlights when you're driving by at nighttime even. So a really cool option. But you can update those messages. Say like, for example, Fabutan, they had a sale that was literally just over the weekend, and they're like, get your tan on for this discount. And then a few days later, they switch it up and they go, hey, you need lotion, don't you? You dry from tanning.
Are you feeling the dry skin today? Yeah, come in.
So they got that going up. So the line signs is what we call the ones with letters on them.
Right.
Those are wicked for businesses like that are just always changing. Oh, it's halfway to Boxing sale or Boxing Day sale, or oh, this is the biggest sale of the month. And then next month, okay, we're kidding, this is the biggest sale of the year, right? So if you're always changing your advertising and you want to just continuously get customers in, line signs are great. Now, what we found is the graphic signs with the picture, those are more effective, I would say. You just can't change them as frequently, right? Because you need to print a new picture. You still can change them if you have 100 of them. But just when somebody sees a visual, there was a study done by some smart people. I forget who it is. You can find it on Instagram, but it's like 60,000 times more effective or something crazy by just seeing a visual, right? So it's like, you ever watch like the fast food commercial and the burger's like bigger than your body? And then it's just like just dripping and all these things. This is like, I don't even eat meat. I'm like, man, I want mine. Maybe I have to get, right? So it's just by seeing the visual, it's that much more effective. So a lot of the clients who do the graphic, if you set up for the free curbside sign with us, we'll print your graphic for free. So your first one is absolutely free, because we find a lot of people, they want the picture because they know how effective it's going to be, but they just don't want to pay for the picture. So we just set them off right. So then they get that. And then say at any point they don't have the sign up for whatever reason, we'll store that in our warehouse until next time. So we'll pay for the print, we'll stick it up for you, and then there's no worries after that. So it's all good and good.
So just a point of clarification for me and listener number two is like, when you're doing the like custom, so you have like what do we call them?
Line signs. Yeah.
Line signs. And then you also have the same size-ish of sign, if I'm understanding that, but you can also do like a printed insert that has a visual on it as well.
So we just call it graphic signs. So you can, generally those messages aren't as detailed. It'll just be like 2 for $5 Whoppers or something, and then just have like 2 big Whoppers on there, right?
Right. On those ones,
like straight to the point. And those are much more effective. Like if I'm ever sending an email, which you and me both know, we got a lot of emails. If I'm ever sending an email, I'll use bullet points. I'll try to just like simplify it as best. Like sometimes I want to tell them everything, but they don't care about me. So I got to make it as small as possible, right? To actually have to read it. Because like even myself, like let's be real here. If I see out like 10, 12 emails, which like business owners do, I'm like, I might just read the titles that day. So it's like, you got to be real specific. So having a graphic sign that has like just a boom, 2 for $5, or boom, $5 off a haircut, or boom, people will read that as they're driving by or parked right by it or walking by or blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So when people are making those decisions about signs and stuff, because I'm sure people come to you with different ideas that they've stewed up in their own brain, you and your team are probably helping guide them to be like, hey, this will be more effective than this, given our experience with signs, right? So
Yeah, like,
I would
and
assume, right, there's a conversation there probably,
for sure, like we just recommend things. Like
right?
if
People really want to
you
do
have
it.
the final say. Like it's totally up to you. Like sometimes
Yeah,
people put some stuff and we're like, you should probably put your business name on there. Or you should like there's minimum things that we really, really highly recommend. But sometimes people
yeah,
are like, I don't care. And we're like, okay. But yeah, like we just try to help guide people. We definitely have recommendations. But yeah, like we don't know everything. Like you're probably smarter than we are anyways. So if you got a cool idea, it's always worth trying out.
well, you have a very fun approach to that, and I mean, like the creativity on the signs that I'm seeing like online here, and it looks like this is kind of like a feed off of like the social media side of things. Is that there's not only like big TVs on walls and stuff. There's some on countertops, which I think is neat. It's almost probably like my monitor here, maybe a little bit like
Yeah,
cleaner in some ways,
it's
but it's neat.
actually behind me here. That's one of the TVs playing.
Oh, cool. So it
So
has ads rolling through it.
yeah, like and coincidentally, I have one right beside me.
Oh,
Okay.
look at that.
I'm not ready
That's
at
so
all.
awesome.
There's a TV up. Yeah, so this guy is what we stick on tables. So like just right in front of me, I'm just your average dude. I'm actually a little taller, but whatever, Trevor. This is a 20-inch TV, and it just sticks on the counter. So that's what we provide for free because we want to just be hands off, have people just not worry about nothing, and we'll just take care of them. So we stick
Yeah.
that just on a counter, in waiting rooms. They're literally every kind of business, from spas to walk-in clinics, restaurants. They're everywhere. And then to touch on, you were saying there's like big screen TVs. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna grab this quick. BRB.
for sure.
There's so this is our little advertising box. So
Cool.
this little dude, we plug into the HDMI of any TV. So if like it's actually surprising how many businesses we go to that have just giant TVs up on walls that are off.
Right.
Like they're just not even doing anything. I'm like, you guys know you got that TV, right? It's not a black picture. And so we can just
Yeah.
plug these into those, and then that's more
Run these
ads
ads.
for that business. So some places, like basically, the more of these guys we plug into TVs, or the more TVs we set up for you, you get more advertising for free. So some places like bowling alleys, for example, they got one in every lane, or different types of
Right.
businesses, salons, they got one where people are getting their manicures, pedicures, and then also in the waiting area. So
Smart.
yeah, if it was my business and I understood how it worked, I'd probably just do a whole wall these days. I would make one big TV. Let's go.
Yeah, run ads for it.
Yeah, so it's to each their own. But being that it's free, it's yeah, it's a win-win. There's and one thing I'd like to mention too, the reason it is free is because it's paid for by places that don't have retail spaces, right? So if you have a retail space, you qualify to get free advertising. If I'm like a realtor and I don't have a place that people can check out, I'll pay you. So you might see a realtor's ad or businesses that don't have retail spaces paying for it. We also do deals with national brands because we have so many TVs. So they're like, just put us everywhere. So that way it is 100% free for the local business. They don't have to sign any contracts. There's zero fees, nothing. It's not a time trial or anything. It's always free, and it's a pretty cool way to support local. Like,
yeah,
I know a lot of. I'm rambling, bro, but I know
no. This is perfect.
a lot of local businesses, if you ask them about their advertising budget, and it's almost like a foreign language to them, and it's so hard to grow your business if people don't know you exist, right? There's some businesses that you drive by that have been there for years, and you're like, oh, when did you get here? It's just like, since day one.
Yeah, they've been here forever. Yeah.
So it's a wicked way for places that don't have a budget to get free advertising and actually have a budget, essentially. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Really good
And
point.
scene.
Yeah, no, well, there's like, because there's only so many places that you as the individual running the business can be. So are you like doing mail outs? Are you having a sign in front of your business if you have a physical location?
Yep.
Or like you mentioned there about like a real, I think that's a great case fit, right? For a realtor to get out there more.
Yeah.
Be in front of those screens, because like there's only so much you can do while growing your own social media. That can be a part of it, but you have to like touch people in different, like, that's going to sound like a weird way to say it, but you have to touch people in different ways in terms of their visual cues, right?
Yep.
Physical sign, Instagram, ad in my dentist office or whatever. Those three things kind of bring it together to be like, oh, wait, I've seen this person before. You start to remember them like you know 100%. Them. And that's ultimately the goal for someone like a realtor, is to become a staple for you to see, right?
And to touch on that, like both of my brothers, my family, honestly, they have a real estate background. So from property management to like just over decades of experience combined in real estate, and then yourself as well. You understand that world.
Yeah.
But there was a study that some smart people made as well, where they put a bunch of it was a fake realtor. They put a bunch of ads everywhere around the neighborhood, just signs everywhere. And then they went around door to door in that neighborhood and they asked, hey, who's the most successful realtor in your area? And everybody said those signs. That person didn't even exist.
Right. So, it was just like a fun case study that they did to showcase how strong the marketing was.
So it's all about just being in people's faces, right? Just reminding them you exist. Like there's people who have friends that are realtors, for example, but then when it's time to buy the house, just because like when you're an adult, you got babies to feed, you got your job to do, you haven't slept ever in your life, it feels like. So it's like you might even forget that so-and-so is a realtor. So unless you're reminded, you go to the, like you said, you go to the dentist office and go, hey, I forgot Bob was a realtor. I like Bob. Time to buy a house. Hey, Bob, right? Just the simplest thing of just being somewhere. Yeah. I'm hyped. It got me hyped.
What actually, okay, so we mentioned like the realtor thing, but to give people, I guess, like the other side of your business in terms of folks like purchasing ads to be on the digital side. Yes. I think we covered kind of like the physical part of there, like makes the easiest sense, I think, for lots of folks to understand that. But then this reach of digital ads, like when I look online here and I see all the places that you have TVs that you're showing in here, like we talked about different locations that way. But when people are looking to approach you guys about throwing an ad on here, what kind of industries today are utilizing you guys for that? I mean, I know you guys have some national stuff. I don't know if they need that, but more localized, smaller, medium-sized businesses that maybe haven't gone into this space before. What do those folks look like? What businesses are you guys?
So things were popping in and out of my head the whole time you were talking there. One thing that's really good feedback from businesses like the local side is restaurants.
Food.
Let me find where's my favorite cards. Apparently, there you go. I'm happy you can't see my desk. It's crazy. The QR here at the top. I just wanted to show people what a QR code is. I don't sound like a weirdo. But we put QR codes in all the ads we make for businesses, and those are stagnant. So it's a video ad. Things are interacting, things are moving, but that just stays still. So somebody can just whip their phone out, click on it, and then it goes straight to your website. With restaurants, what we do is we'll put it straight to Skip the Dishes or DoorDash or something where people can order right away. So that's been really good feedback, especially for places that are tucked away, right? So like people would love to eat your food. That's why Winnipeg's the best. Like nobody's from here, and that's why we have the best food, because people come here and start their own restaurants, and it's just like, what is this glorious food? So by having an ad playing all over your area, if you have a bunch of TVs, the city, people can just order right there, and now you're unlocking customers that didn't even know you exist. Now you got reoccurring customers from that. So restaurants is huge. Everywhere it's the same, similar story to the real estate agent. It's like we're at U-Putts, like a super amazing arcade in McPhillips. As an uncle myself, I'm like, okay, what do I buy a 3-year-old girl for her birthday? Like, what the heck? Or what do I get a 12-year-old boy? Or what, like, it's so having an ad pop up that says, hey, there's an arcade, laser tag, everything. You're just like, oh, that's a sweet idea. We're at another spot, little this, little that. It's just like a locally owned shop for kids' clothes. One really cool thing that they're introducing, it's a newer shop, St. James area. They put baskets together. So you could be like, this is how old the kid is. He likes Spider-Man. And then there'll be a basket just full of Spider-Man stuff. I picked everything. I need so
yeah.
Just having these ideas, these innovative ideas, like, again, being an uncle, like sometimes I'm like, hey, like I'm just gonna give you money because like, I don't know what you want and I want you to like me. So a basket, that makes sense to me. There's got to be something in there that you like. So,
totally.
Yeah. So
no, that's very smart.
All kinds of businesses. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, you got my brain going now too. I know that we always have good chats about business. Now I'm not supposed to be asking questions. You got me thinking about other stuff, but that's a great.
I was just gonna say, like, even places want more followers, like just anything where you just want to get yourself in front of other people. And some people are like, oh, I have a specific target market. Well, everybody shops at grocery stores. Everybody, like, will need to buy a vehicle. Everybody eats at restaurants. So, like, business owners are also customers and clients at all these different places. So if you're literally a business that is business to business, it's still a great option for you, because when those people see you all over the place, wow. And if you're just getting the digital ads from us, it's the price of a bus bench advertisement, and then you're getting everywhere. So it's in
front of more folks.
Yeah, it's not like we're stealing money here. It's a really good investment just to get as many places as you can, and it's a really cool new way to do it.
Yeah, just because you're hitting up, that many TVs. So on here, just for like the number showed out there too, and you mentioned that like you're in 6,100 plus ad TVs. Where are they? Like, I know you're Canada, US. Could we talk like high level, like how many are in Canada, how many in the States? What does that exposure look for like in Canada, if we're thinking local for Winnipeg, and then
absolutely. So again, like we always we're a little bit behind in our updates. It's like serve the customer, then update websites where we're at with our business. But if you're on the website, one of the tabs at the top, it says Canadian locations.
Oh.
So if you click that, it'll show you. We haven't even added Yellowknife yet. There's a lot of things that we haven't added there, but
there you go.
Yeah, as far as so that's just Canada, and we're only putting the Canadian ones up there because there's just thousands in the States right now, and it's like, who wants to look at a page that's infinite? It's like, you got better things you could do. So the Canadian locations there's still a bunch more to update, but that's where we're at.
Awesome.
Yeah, and every month it's just boom, boom. Like
that probably ends up being someone's big part of their job is updating this thing here. So what I'm looking at here for the listener is basically a list, and they updated July 1st, 2023. So I guess you guys are probably doing August 1st update, so to say, in the works right now. But Winnipeg, Grand Prairie. Sorry, I'm listening to some of you. Go ahead. I guess you're gonna update this, but Nova Scotia, Toronto, like you guys are really at a neat takeoff point.
Yeah, and like we have a lot that are just like waiting to get installed. Like we got at least 100 in Calgary. They're not even on that list. They're going to be installed, and that's just to start.
That's awesome.
And so we're just going to keep on.
So when people advertise with you guys, they automatically, like, I think that they can choose their geography and stuff, but is it auto? They're just on across Canada though, if they don't choose that, or maybe that's an option that they can choose with you guys?
So it's just an option. Like we kind of go city to city.
Yeah.
But then with like the national brands, if you want the exposure everywhere, we got to, right? Like we do deals where people are in North America, so you'll see ads across North America. Depending on your business, but for the free option, it's like majority of business owners prefer to advertise around their business. So we'll just circulate your ad around your business. Whereas if you were like, hey, like for example, we're at Crazy Bins, which is super popular spot, and they have 2 locations. So they want to advertise in different areas, and one spot's super busy, for example. So we might put all of their ads around the other spot to just pick that one up. Right. So it's kind of, what do you want? There's another spot, Flui Trading. They provide like all the food for different restaurants. So they want to be in restaurants all over the city. So we're not circulating their warehouse. We're literally all over the city.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. I clicked on
Okay.
what Crazy Bins is. I never heard of it. Is this
Oh,
like Amazon orders gone wrong or what?
exactly. Yeah, they they buy a bunch of Amazon stock and then they just resell it in their store for super cheap. Literally, like, not exaggerating, thousands of people going there every day. When I was installing the TV there, I was just like, there's so many. Like, you ever want to like meet people? Like, date night at Crazy Biz. You can buy everything there on one day for $1. It's like $2, $3. Like, it's so cheap. And yeah, super cool spot. They got like testing stations. You make sure it works before you go. But yeah, that's one place where, or 2 places, I guess, that you can get your ad for free as well. Just that's a lot of exposure. It's just stuck right beside the checkout, so everybody sees you.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because there's, like I said before, like there's only so many places you can be. This is kind of like the next step up from a physical sign. I mean, a physical sign is capturing, like I said, like that other, in my opinion, that other audience, or just an additional set of eyes when you're driving by, walking by, whatever, to see that ad being done in a different way, because not everyone's algorithm is queued up the same on your phone, and or like this doesn't run like that. How long are the ads on the digital side of things, Cass?
Great question. So they're 15 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And that just cycles throughout the day. So, for example, like certain places have 2 TVs. You would, that way, to keep these, like the cycle time not as long, we'll just put you on one of those TVs, and then we have other business on that. So it doesn't like get backed up too much. I don't want to complicate things and say all the details of how the paid ads work.
No,
but
that's okay.
basically, your ad is going to cycle every like 2 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on where you are, what day it is, and when it's rotating. But basically, if we're in like a medical clinic and people are just waiting to get in, like we're at Keewatin Medical Center, for example. We're in like one in Plessy, so like, and then in what's that super nice area in Southside? Can't remember the name. Bridgewater. Yeah. I'm uncomfortable being there. It's like so nice. I'm like, man, I'm gonna break something. I like it a lot.
Oh my God.
But at Keewatin Medical Center, for example, we're installing that one, and it's busy, and somebody walks in and it's like, oh, hey, I'm just here for a walk-in, like drop-in kind of thing. And they're like, what's the wait time? And the lady's like, 6 hours. And then the person's like, okay. And then they sit their butt down in the waiting area. It's like, they're going to see your ad. And it was full. So it's like certain places, it's like people, it doesn't make sense to me. It's going to rotate every 2 minutes. It's like, that is, if you're waiting at a chiropractic office, which we have a bunch, acupuncture, like people are going to see your ad for sure in waiting areas. It's literally waiting, and people are doing this. So.
Yeah, and they're going to pop up from their phone and take a look here. That's a neat little thing I discovered here on this Crazy One thing. I kind of want to go check it out just out of curiosity now.
Oh, yeah, great.
Sorry, squirrel, but I'm like, that's really nutty.
No, I know. It's funny. I sound like I like work for a lot of these places when I'm talking about them.
People are just passionate about what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that makes so much sense, and you're hitting so many different areas. Like you're just like, you're really running with the odds here of like you're going to hit success with some of it. Maybe that's another question I used to like just like feed in here. You got me taking notes more than I normally do on these episodes here, but you know what? What do you guys?
You're doodling stick, man. I know.
Oh yeah. No, it's full notes, man. I'm writing this shit down. There's what do you normally see? Obviously, you can't really like promise, like success in this thing, but there's a reason why folks are, doing this in general, and they're sticking with you guys and you're growing. what do you kind of see, without making that a promise to, listener here, but what's kind of any numbers that you can speak to where you've seen some success in business, understanding as well to listener, every business is incredibly different. Like, just because you put up an ad for chicken wings on special for your restaurant doesn't mean it's going to blow up, but it's going to add to them seeing you, that multiple time thing. But
Yeah.
loose comments on that, I guess, around like, what do you see for folks having success with there? Because it's important for the business to think about there.
That's why we say the impressions, right? So
Right.
it's impossible to say how many people are actually going to result in a sale for your business. Like, what happens a lot of the time too is these customers or potential clients, they'll see your advertisement on a billboard when they're driving to work every day. And then they'll go in to get their massage and they'll see your ad in the waiting room, right? So they go shopping, they see it again.
Totally.
It's not like, it's not always a particular, oh, I see this, I want it. Most people want familiarity. So if it's brand new, first time they saw it, they're not going to do anything about it. But by being everywhere or having that billboard by the street, seeing it all the time, eventually when they go, hey, I do need that service or I do want that product,
right,
that's who they go to. It's kind of like there's like sales training at like Foot Locker and like Champs and all that, where the first person to say hi to the customer that walks in is the one that's going to get the sale, just because they're familiar with that person, right? Oh no, I don't need a hand. But then go by and they do need a hand, they'll literally push other salespeople out of the way to get to
go to the first person that they met.
Yeah, so it's like that's because they are familiar with that person, right? So as far as results go, I can't, like, there's ways to measure it. You can put your QR code to a specific website if you really are like, oh, I want to see how many people scan the QR. But you're going to get a lot more results from people who saw your ad everywhere, every day, every other day. And they're just going to be like, okay, I need this now. And they might just go to your business or give you a call or set up an appointment, whatever it is, without the ad, just because the ad was there.
Yeah. No. That totally makes sense, man. That resonates very well with me. I just figured to kind of, pick a little bit more in there, because I think, relatively, and I think maybe the next thing to talk about too is like, how do people get a hold of you? They want to make a decision to get on some of those boards. I think there's something on the website here that said, get a hold of you guys, basically. Contact us on here.
Yeah, you see our TV anywhere. You can call the phone number on there. You can email us at reactsigns.com. Super easy spelling. I don't know how to use my finger there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's what you would guess. You can you can email sales@reactsigns.com. You can give us a phone call. Going to the website's probably the easiest way for people. You just go to the website, hit contact.
And then at the bottom here, it's like you fill out some information, and then I'm assuming you guys follow up and
exactly.
Get a hold of them. So, and then you guys are also on social medias here. I know that I have 2 Instagram things. We have React Signs, or at React Signs, then at React Signs WPG.
We should have the Alberta one as well, and we got one in Toronto. We should add on there again, updates.
Man, it's nonstop. There's always something, right? So just when you're at ahead or whatever, which is great. That's just momentum, right?
We should do these meetings more often, so I remember all the things I got. Even my little calendar notes.
So, and something that we'll include in here for the listener too is the like website for you guys, the social media handles that we have to date, and then your email address in there, so they'll have all that. I think
we do get a lot of people DMing us that are curious about things too. So send us a message on Instagram. However you want to party, we're there for you.
Cool. No, I love that. That's great. I think we learned lots today. I'm excited to chat more after this with some things that I wrote down here, Cass. But I just want to say, thanks so much for jumping on today. And I know that we're going to talk again. So we'll call it version 1 of this series for this year. So
I appreciate you, man. I love everything you're doing with the podcast. I'm happy you're in the jungle in the Amazon right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Vacation. I don't know. You're wearing a sweater out there.
Oh yeah, it's super hot in this humid condition.
Brand commitment right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool beats. I appreciate you, my man.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we'll hang up and then keep talking.
Yeah, sounds good, Cass. We will talk to you soon, buddy.
Moving